Hi YouTube, this is Joe from the Northeastern Native Plant Digest, bringing you another video on a beautiful Friday afternoon. I wanted to do one more video today and I'm not really necessarily going to be talking about plants. I want to be talking about another project that I did a couple years ago, and that is my native wildlife pond. Originally, my vision for this was to create a vernal pool. For those that aren't familiar with a vernal pool is a temporary body of water that usually forms in the spring from runoff or snow melt in low-lying areas, and it's utilized by amphibians in their reproductive process. Ohio has lost a lot of our vernal pools because of development and farming. So, I have a lot of clay here. It sits kind of low where I'm at. And so I wanted to try to create something to help amphibians, because amphibians, their numbers are on the decline, and a lot of it's because of, loss of habitat. So anything we can do to help them is going to be beneficial to the planet and to your local ecosystem. And, frogs and toads are great to have in your garden because they eat slugs, which are, one of the bane of gardeners. So I dug this out by hand a few years ago. It's not a huge pond. It's only about maybe 7 feet by 12 feet, lengthwise. And originally my intent was not to put a rubber liner in there, but I just decided for ease of use and maintenance, I'd go ahead and do that. One of the big key distinctions with a vernal pool, like I was talking about earlier, is that it is a temporary pond, and so there's no fish, because fish can eat the eggs and will eat the eggs of frogs and toads. So this pond does not have fish in it. I do have a lot of tadpoles in there. I had last spring. I know this spring I had green tree frogs or brown tree frogs and regular American bullfrogs laying eggs in here. I didn't see any toads. Last year I saw toads, so I don't see any pollywogs in here this year. But I have a ton of tadpoles, and I don't know if I can get a shot in here or not. I will try. But some of the plants that I've used for this pond are pickerel. Pickerel is a native plant. It's a marginal bog plant that it can grow with fully submerged roots. And also, of course, I have some cattail in here, one of my favorite plants. Cattail is utilized a lot by the nymphs of dragonflies. They come out and they'll shed their nymph exoskeleton and emerge as a dragonfly. I've had a lot of dragonflies this year because of this pond, and that's a great thing because they eat insects and stuff. They're a wonderful addition to your garden. I also have a native lily here. It's not in bloom. I wish it was. It's beautiful. It's a hardy lily. It's a hybrid. So also have some duckweed. The main plant that I have in here, as far as the aquatic plant, is some foxtail. I also had some anacris in there, but I don't see that right now. There's a frog right here. I don't know if you can, probably can't see that. And then over here, I have some lizard's tail, which is another native plant that gets a nice flower spike on it that's done blooming now. I had some equisetum in here. It didn't really, I don't see it this year. It's one of those plants that they give you a caveat on because it can be very aggressive. But, I've had tons. I've had a lot more, I got frogs in here. I've got more toads in my yard. I love it when the tree frogs are out here in the spring calling the spring peepers. They use this pond. And as far as maintenance goes, I haven't really done a lot. The main thing is trying to keep the leaves out in the fall because I have a lot of trees here. And this pond is in it just seems to be a leaf magnet for some reason. So this year, last year I really struggled. I tried to cover it with a couple screens, and I just had a real hard time trying to keep the leaves out. And this year I'm going to actually build a frame, and I'll do an update when I do that. So I'm going to build a frame that's big enough and wide enough, hopefully one that I can fold out over this. Another thing I did last year was that I kept that little air stone in here, and really what that does in the wintertime is it keeps a hole open, because it's very important in the wintertime, especially in this region, to keep your ponds either with a heater or with an air stone to keep a hole in there, because a lot of times what's going to happen is that your pond's going to freeze over, and all those rotting leaves or anything that's rotting in there that decays is going to produce toxic gases. And if your frogs and stuff are hibernating in here and those toxic gases build up to detrimental levels, your frogs and that are going to die. Unfortunately, the first year that I had this, I didn't really realize that, and I did lose some frogs, not all of them. But this last spring, I didn't find any dead frogs, and that was, I'm convinced because I kept that hole in there. And this year, I'm going to probably get a heater for that because I want the hole to be bigger. And another important thing with that is to keep oxygenating aquatic plants like foxtail and anacris in there, because they'll help produce oxygen. Another tip would be to keep the snow off so that the light can get through. So I just want to do a quick update. This is another project I've been working on. I'm still kind of landscaping around it. I want to kind of really expand that flower bed behind it and around it, and I need to add some more rocks and stuff, but that's it. This is a great project. If you're looking to do something a little bit different, if you got the space, I would definitely recommend putting in a pond, little pond like this, and it'll just be another way you can enhance your environment, and you'll be amazed at the amount of life that this thing will generate and will attract. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or anything like that, leave your comments below, and hope you have a great weekend. Thank you. Bye.